"It was the first time we were not as good as we can be," was the verdict of Jurgen Klopp after Liverpool's 4-2 loss to Roma at the Stadio Olimpico. "We needed luck, that's what we had, over the whole Champions League campaign. It's deserved." The admission that Liverpool needed luck is characteristic of Klopp, a deflective stab at modesty after the club's most exciting result this decade. Liverpool may have lost a chaotic and topsy-turvy game on a sweltering night in the Eternal City, but they also progressed 7-6 on aggregate to their first Champions League final since 2007. Read more, why Roberto Firmino is so highly rated by Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. Not everyone was as magnanimous as Klopp after the match, with Roma president James Pulata livid over what he saw as a series of errors from referee Damir Scamina and his fellow officials. So did Liverpool really get lucky against Roma? And how lucky have they been over the course of the current Champions League campaign? An absolute joke. Pulata had several grievances after the game on Wednesday evening, so let's start there. "It's absolutely clear that VAR is needed in the Champions League because you just can't let stuff like this go," he said. "You can all look at it yourself on the film. Edin Dzeko, potentially in the 49th minute, wasn't offside and he got taken down by the goalie. The 63rd minute was a handball by Trent Alexander-Arnold that was obvious to everybody in probably the world, except the few people on the pitch." Read more, Stadio Main. The sting in the tail for Liverpool as Roma finally succumb at the Stadio Olimpico. The 67th minute, Patrick Schick gets taken down in the box. "I know it's difficult to ref, but it's really embarrassing when we lose on aggregate like that. By the way, it should have been red card against Alexander-Arnold, which would have been 10 men in the 63rd minute. Again, Liverpool are a great team, congratulations going forward. But if we don't get VAR in the Champions League, stuff like this is an absolute joke." Dzeko ruled wrongly offside, taken out by Karius. Nothing. Pic.twitter.com/xql6xwwgqb. Gem Robert 31-2. Gem at MCFC_Roberto. May 2, 2018. First up, there is certainly a case for Liverpool getting lucky over the Dzeko offside call. The Roma striker appeared to be in an onside position when he burst through the Liverpool backline, played on by Virgil van Dijk. Taken down by Loris Karius in the box, Dzeko would have won a penalty which could potentially have helped level the scores on aggregate come the final whistle, though it could have changed the game in other ways, who knows. Read more, Roma could not contain the sheer joy of Liverpool's playground football. The handball shout against Alexander-Arnold was probably the most controversial incident in the game, but is more open to debate than some have suggested. While slow-motion replays and carefully selected stills on Twitter make the decision look like a clear-cut penalty, the laws of the game state that a player must handle the ball deliberately to be penalized by the referee. It is difficult to judge whether or not there is any intent in Alexander-Arnold's movement at full speed, despite his awkward body position. He is ultimately throwing himself forward for a desperate block, a movement which naturally requires use of his arms, and the fact that the ball clearly strikes his hand means little unless the referee can be sure he intended it so. Shout for handball and you can see why. That's a good save from Alexander-Arnold. Whether or not Alexander-Arnold should have received a red card is equally subjective, so to say Liverpool were lucky in this case would be to presume the referee made a genuine error as opposed to a snap judgment call. With regards to Liverpool's luck over two legs, the two penalties they did concede for handball were both similarly debatable. All in all, as they do in most matches, the game-changing decisions just about balanced out. Echoes of Manchester City heading over to Twitter in the aftermath of the game at the Stadio Olimpico. It was hard not to notice that many of the accounts most aggrieved by Liverpool's perceived luck against Roma were affiliated with Manchester City. This is, no doubt, linked to the fact that Liverpool benefited from a few choice decisions against City in the quarter-finals, not least a wrongly disallowed goal from Leroy Sane, a goal from Mohamed Salah which looked marginally offside, and a clumsy challenge from Andy Robertson on Raheem Sterling which could well have resulted in a penalty. 2. Andy Robertson swiping Sterling's legs from beneath him, giving away a clear penalty. A clear penalty that wasn't given. Pic.twitter.com/xd9y8mu, at Beardamendi, May 2, 2018. The decision to disallow Sane's goal was a particularly fortuitous moment for Liverpool, but just as it was with Roma, City were always going to be chasing the tie. While Liverpool have had some near escapes with refereeing decisions, they have also made their own luck by starting on the front foot and storming ahead in both the quarter-finals and the semis. That has left them less vulnerable to human error from officials, while their opponents have necessarily been far more aware of each and every decision which has gone against them. Lucky Liverpool? Steven Gerrard hit upon something when, after the second leg against Manchester City, he said of Liverpool's more serendipitous moments, "They're the things you need to go in your favour if you're going to progress in the Champions League." Though the sort of fans who believe in shadowy refereeing, conspiracies and UEFA inexplicably favouring any team but theirs might not agree, luck is essentially arbitrary in football just as it is in everything else. Just as the best sides need a bit of good fortune lest they fail to achieve their full potential, see Manchester City in Europe this season, luck is inevitably a factor in the exploits of any successful team. Read more. Steve Cooper backs his England kid seeking success abroad. Liverpool have needed their fair share of luck en route to the Champions League final, and will no doubt need even more to overcome Real Madrid and win the tournament. That said, show us a side which has won the Champions League with no good fortune whatsoever.